So Donald Trump has been subpoenaed by the January 6th committee. Let's take on two issues, one involving form and the other involving substance, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. Well, we now know that the January 6th House Select Committee investigating the insurrection has subpoenaed Donald Trump for testimony. And I'm sure Donald Trump is enthusiastic about being fully forthcoming. He probably already put it on his calendar. Can't wait to get in there, be placed under oath, and tell the truth about his responsibility for the insurrection, the attack on the U.S. Capitol, and attempted overthrow of the federal government. So now that he's been subpoenaed, I have two observations. One involves form and the other involves substance. First of all, form. We have to go back to 1974 when Richard Nixon's tapes were subpoenaed. That happened in April of 1974, and what happened, there were immediately legal challenges filed in federal court. That legal challenge had to go through the trial court in Washington, D.C., up through the appellate court, and ultimately to the Supreme Court. And you probably know the Supreme Court unanimously rejected Richard Nixon's attempts to hide his tapes from Congress. That took a total of 4 months. The legal challenge was filed in April of 1974, and the Supreme Court basically told Richard Nixon, turn the tapes over in July of 1974, just 4 months. So where are we now? The J6 committee has subpoenaed Trump for testimony, and we are a little more than halfway through October. We know that the J6 committee will expire come January 3rd. That gives the courts less than 3 months to resolve this issue. So, if a legal challenge is filed, and I'm certain it will be, we're going to have to see if the federal courts can break their own record, a record they set back in 1974, resolving that subpoena in 4 months. We have to see if the courts have it in them to resolve this one in less than 3 months and get Donald Trump's butt in the witness chair before the J6 Congressional Committee. Well, stay tuned to this one, friends. Okay, now let's turn to substance. Let's assume, I'm going to take a wild guess here, that Donald Trump never is dragged before Congress to testify before January 3rd, before the J6 committee expires. That doesn't mean there's no value in the J6 committee subpoenaing Donald Trump for testimony. Why? Well, there's this phenomenon in the practice of law enforcement and criminal law. We call it tickling the wire. What does tickling the wire mean? Well, when we investigate cases covertly, sometimes we go up on a wire and we get court authorization to listen surreptitiously, listen to and record the phone conversations of the target or of the criminal organization we're investigating. And while we're doing that, sometimes we will inject information inside the criminal organization that we are investigating, whose phone calls we are monitoring. The way we typically do that is we'll have an insider. We'll have a member of the conspiracy that has covertly flipped and is still on the inside of the conspiracy. And we will have that cooperator feed information to the other folks inside the conspiracy, and then we'll listen and we'll record and we'll monitor their phone conversations to see if they talk about what it is we, the agents, the prosecutors, have injected into the conspiracy. We call that tickling the wire, sort of prompting them to talk about criminal activity. With the J6 committee subpoenaing Donald Trump, I kind of feel like it is comparable to tickling the wire. Why do I say that? Well, just by virtue of the fact that Trump has been subpoenaed, what's he going to do? Oh, he's going to start running his big old mouth. He's going to start posting things on his third-rate social media platform, Truth Social, or whatever he calls it. And every word he speaks and everything he posts is what we prosecutors call a statement of a party opponent, which is admissible evidence at a criminal trial. And you know Donald Trump can't help but incriminate himself anytime his lips are moving, anytime he posts something on a social media platform, he's incriminating himself. And I suspect, being the recipient of a congressional subpoena will prompt him to say any number of things that will ultimately be incriminating information that can be introduced against him at trial. And prosecutors, I can promise you, friends, are documenting, recording, cataloging, and filing away everything Trump says, everything Trump posts. And some of his statements, I predict, will see the inside of a courtroom when he is indicted. And he will be indicted. Because justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.